All right, welcome back to the X-Ring. So we are actually leaving today. We're leaving this evening from Cairo, headed to Spain. And before I got into any type of, video stuff or anything like that, what I wanted to do was have Sergio talk about how this part of the trip was planned and what places, he decided to ultimately go to for us to stay.
All right, so pretty much some of the guys that I work with have been here before, and a lot of the recommendations was the Great Pyramid Inn. So the first guy that I talked to, he stayed here but didn't have everything that we had. So when I went ahead and booked through booking.com the Great Pyramid Inn, the next day Aladdin contacted me on WhatsApp and asked me what I wanted to do, what, tourism and what I wanted to see. And then pretty much from there went down to, the cost of everything. And then the day before we flew out, he asked us for our flight information, so that way he could have his driver there to pick us up. And then as soon as we got here, as soon as we landed, there was a driver there waiting for us.
Yeah.
And you can explain that part.
Yeah, the minute we got here and actually got to the hotel, we really didn't know what to expect because you're going to see a heavy police and military presence like you're probably not used to seeing back in the States. Everybody's carrying AK-47s or HK-G3s, and some guys carrying ARs in the airports themselves. That's something that I had seen before. But it kind of puts you off when you start going into Giza, into the tourist area, when you start seeing this huge presence of military. Just makes you feel that much safer. And a lot of the horror stories you hear about Cairo, I'm going to dispel that right now. While you can get hassled by some of the street vendors because they're wanting some of that money, they're wanting that tourist money. It helps what makes them survive here. That's what they do. The average salary here is equivalent to about $300 a month. So you have to think about that and what we have in the United States. Now, the exchange rate here is really, really good. A $100 bill will get you 3,000 of the Egyptian. And so to put it in perspective, every 300 Egyptian is like 10 bucks. Or if you convert it over. And I know Sergio and I could eat we could have a salmon dinner, you could have steak or whatever, and our total bill would be like 800 Egyptian, which, think about it, folks, that's like $25 for both of us total. And so your money goes a long ways here, which is unlike Jordan. Jordan's completely different. 1.5 US dollars will get you one Jordanian dinar. So as far as the people, very, very proud people, but I will say that their standard of living is a lot lower than what we're used to in the United States. Everyone that we met here was super friendly, super accommodating. They actually took the time to remember our names.
Oh, yeah.
This place is full of people. You have to realize that. Even though the Pyramid Inn didn't look like that big of a deal, I think it's won 10 years in a row, top 10 places to stay through TripAdvisor and some of the other ones.
TripAdvisor is the big thing that they had.
Yeah. And I know we've done a lot of filming from this top portion, but there's 3 of these terraces on the roof here. The rooms are nice and accommodating. Almost everyone's going to have a mini split. Definitely not going to be Marriott quality. I would say it's more like Comfort Inn.
Comfort Inn?
Yeah, something like the Comfort Inn until you get up to the top. And back there is what really makes the experience.
Can't beat this view. You're not going to get this view.
You're not going to get that at a Comfort Inn. So hopefully that helps you guys. I will tell you that visiting the museums was good. The Egyptian Museum, the Civilization Museum, being able to see these artifacts from so many years ago and knowing that that's authentic and that's real. Yep. And then the mummies down there, while some of you might not be into mummies, that is the history of this place and all the dynasties, within it. One of the things that I learned was there's not just 3 pyramids here or 4 or 5. There's 130 pyramids just in this area alone.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
What did you learn? Did you learn anything about the history, culture, anything like that was a big takeaway for you?
The biggest takeaway for me was Salah ad-Din's citadel.
Yeah,
I did not know that was here. If you've watched Kingdom of Heaven, you know who Salah ad-Din is and what he did, especially against the Crusaders. I didn't think the Crusades reached all the way this far.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it, a lot more so than I thought I would. This was the one part of the trip that I wasn't quite sure of on being in Cairo and everything else. And it was very safe. Their murder rate is actually very, very low compared to everywhere else in the world. It's really, really low. And if you get you a good tour guide, we had Faida, and she was a local, born and raised here. And so they can kind of thwart some of the people that are trying to just get your money. Okay, when you have these street vendors come up trying to sell you bookmarks and keychains and all of that, they can kind of handle that beforehand, just to tell them we're not interested. That can save you some heartache. However, there's a downside to that. The downside is they're doing their part to help bring some of that U.S. money into, or that tourist money back into Egypt. And they will do these unscheduled stops, like to a papyrus shop or to like an oil shop or something like that, just trying to get a little bit of that cash. Because like I said, you know, what might be $20 to us is equivalent to, you know, quite a few hundred to them. So I really, really enjoyed this part of the trip. We are headed to Seville, Spain, or Seville, Spain, however you want to say it. And
but there's one quick takeaway on that is just listening to the tour guides that are here. I mean, they're talking Japanese, Chinese, English, Spanish. I mean, it's crazy to see how many languages these people learn.
Yeah, it's a melting pot of culture. But I will tell you that trying to get a one-on-one tour guide will give you access to more stuff in a more efficient time. That way you're not traveling in a big tour bus with 20 people coming off of it and then you being in the back not being able to hear. We literally had one person with us. We had special parking. As soon as we started to leave a pyramid area, boom, they were there picking us up. The coordination was great on their part, and so I've got to give big kudos to the Pyramid Inn for arranging that.
Yeah. Especially the camel ride. I mean,
oh, dude, I didn't think that was going to be a fun thing. That's one of the highlights of the trip for me.
Yeah. I mean, originally said I ain't riding one of them stinky things.
Yeah. Well, I grew up being around horses and been on enough animals, and I just assumed the worst. But actually, it was really cool. And even my guy was like, "Hey, if you don't want to be led along, I'll let you drive it." You know, basically drive the camel. And it was really cool. I mean, they're very, very accommodating people, and a little bit goes a long ways here.
But the tour guide picked for us was on point.
Yes. So they have special people that they deal with. So hopefully you learned a little bit about Cairo and Egypt and some of its people. But like I said, the history was just incredible at this place. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll come back to you from Spain, and then from there, I think we were going to go to France and Switzerland and maybe Dubai. We'll see. I had a viewer contact me, and we might be able to arrange a trip there towards the end. I know you're going over to Slovakia, which I'm not going to be doing that leg of the trip. So hope you guys enjoy it. We'll come back at you in a couple days.
This is our free marketing. People stick the stones. Use the cover of this one, of the pyramid. But here, why we have two entrance here? Important ritual to, if you hear about 7 chakras. You know 7 chakras? Yeah, we have 7 types of them.
All right, so you're not supposed to have a camera down here, so they say. Wow, this will wear your knees out. So of course, if you pay the right people, you can bring a really good camera in here. It's pretty cool. It's actually a lot cooler in here than it was outside. I think that's it. All right, so we're inside of the middle tomb here. I'm going to talk quietly because you get a lot of echoing, but This actually has red granite, which they said came from Ascom, I think it is. Aswan, don't remember, which they said was about an hour and a half flight. So I was actually wrong in my previous video because red granite is not found here. And if you guys see this, I want you to look at this. There's no seam in here. You couldn't get a razor blade in here or anything. And they said they did this without any type of mortar or anything. And it's really cool how tight everything is. All the joints, everything, there's no gaps. Even the ceiling right here is pretty awesome. But yeah, a lot cooler in here than it was outside. All right, so I am on the camel. I'm on the camel. Where are my stirrups at?
Only one, that's okay. You do it like this, not like a whole thing. Come on, my friend.
Let's see if he comes off of this thing. You gotta lean back.
Lean back. Hey.
He's like, he's too fat. He's like, man, that's a lot of work. That guy is heavy. Guys, you wouldn't believe how tall these things are. I've ridden horses before, but this is crazy. This is a strange beast.
Calling my friend Ray. This is a strange beast.
You okay?
Yeah, good. You want to see camel toe? Something like Star Wars. They all go. They let their right hand close enough. All right, so I had an amazing experience. Another one checked off the bucket list. Riding a camel in Cairo, Egypt, with my good friend Sergio. Couldn't have done it without him. Lining all this up. So yeah, it was actually cool. These camels are actually pretty docile too. It's not just gassy.
So this is a papyrus plant, okay, and we'll see together how ancient Egyptian out of that plant made the paper, papyrus paper, okay. First of all, I'd like you to know that the word paper comes from papyrus, as it was, yes, the first step to make the paper. That plant was considered for ancient Egyptian as a holy plant for two reasons. First one, the flower looks like sun rays, and this symbolizes to the god of the sun, Amun Ra, okay. Second reason, the form of the stem. It's not round or circular like all plants. It has a triangular shape, and this looks like pyramids. And pyramids for ancient Egyptians is a symbol of eternity. They believed that there would be another second life after death. Okay, for those two reasons, they consider it as a holy plant. Let's see now how did they make the paper out of the plant. First step, I cut the stem according to the size of the paper that I'd like to make. As you see, we have many different sizes, okay? And by the way, the plant can reach as height up to 6 meters high. As long as it is exposed to sun rays to get temperature and abundant water, it grows very fast. Second step, I have to remove the green outer cover, and that cover had its really very special importance. Why? Because it was at the same time very flexible, but it is also very strong and resistant. It was used to make sandals, boots, hats, baskets, etc. But to make the paper, it's all with the inner white part. I will cut it into strips. It's very fragile, it's not rigid like this, because it contains water and sugar. So I have to get rid of internal water. How? By using that hammer. I will hammer it like this to let water out. Okay. Then I have to use the ruler to flatten the fiber, as flattening the fiber will make it stronger and also more flexible. After this, the fiber will be in water, only fresh water with no adding any. We are talking about a kind of paper that is 100% natural and also friend for the environment. The fiber will be staying here for 5 to 6 days if I would like to get finally a white color paper like that. But for a dark color paper like that, fibers have to stay more time, maybe 10 or 12 days. Observe with me difference in color according to the time they are in water. After that period of time, the 5 or the 10 days, and according to the colors that you want to get finally, I have to take my fibers out of water and I will arrange them between these two pieces of tissue that used to be in ancient time in linen, because linen absorbs well water. Arrangement is like this, one time horizontal, one time vertical, side by side, and so until I finish my future papyrus paper. As a final step, the two pieces under the press. For how long? For approximately 1 week, under pressure and exposed to sun rays to get temperature, till they are completely drained out of water, okay? Like this. Let's see now final result after having passed 1 week under press. This is the result. First paper all over the world, papyrus paper out of papyrus plant. Okay? That's it. Very strong and resistant, very flexible, easily pliable. Look at your paper please like this under light. Yes, and with your camera, you will very clearly see the fibers, the horizontal and vertical position as we have made. To know more, let's have a piece of it. Very hot. Okay. You see the arrangement of the fibers make a layer upon the other to make a coherent paper. Okay. The paper is also waterproof, water resistant. My hands are dry. Okay. That's why it accepts and absorbs very well the colors. And according to this, all the paintings that we'll be browsing here, all of them are handmade by specialized artists from the Academy of Fine Arts. Okay. You have to consider where you are buying the papyrus paper. Our museum is under the supervision of the government, and any piece you will be choosing from here, it will be attached with a certificate of guarantee for being a real original papyrus paper, because it exists many and many types of paper in the Egyptian market, and not all of them are originally made out of that plant. Okay, they can be made out of banana leaves or bamboo or sugar cane, or these plants are sources to make the paper. Let me finally show you this and how it resists very well to water as if it was a piece of tissue. It does not damage, it does not change, it's still always a paper. Even if it's folded strongly like this, nothing at all. The paper still a paper. That's why it was used by ancient Egyptians as a very durable mean to keep logging and registration for the history, the most important beliefs in their lives. Okay? Nice video.
This is a unique design here. Sergio, what do you think about all these pyramids?
Cool.
Cool. He just never talks that much. You can see all this. This is actually under, this is Sakura, and this is actually still under archaeological digs right now. I'll say that again, archaeological. There we go.
You see, looks like mirror, and in the top, imitation for the stem of papyrus plant. Okay, need to put a small hole. Have a look at the angles here, because if they put it straight, it will destroy short time. Okay, this is the first hole.
This is all original?
Inshallah, yeah. During this time, they don't do that. They built it straight one. And you will see another hole that is there. And you watch it, she is the goddess.
All right, so this is the entrance to that tomb. It's almost 30 something feet, meters, 90 feet. Giza Pyramids, there. pyramids everywhere. It's just not the three. See another one there. And then we have Sakura. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go 180 degrees, and then you're going to see two more. What are the names of those?
This one for Snefru, the father of King Khufu, and the Bent Pyramid for the same king. But he built the bent one, not right one, the brick one, before to build the right one, because the angles of the bent one, it was not right.
All right, so this citadel is broken into 3 levels. When we get into this, the first floor was going to be for the horses, the second's where they lived, and the third is where they fought from. So we'll check the towers here in just a minute and give you the view of it. This is walking from the courtyard into the citadel itself.
We have here palace, but this palace not for living, only to have some rest, because you come from the lower part.
And this is the mosque of Muhammad Ali, who is the owner of this.
Have enough alabaster stone? No, they have, but the limestone working as air condition.
So the bottom is made of alabaster,
Yeah.
but that's not natural to the area. So the top they actually use sandstone, which they said had better cooling properties. And just coming up here into the mosque, it's actually a lot cooler here because of the elevation than it was down in the lower part of the citadel there. It's actually very cool. It's very cool. All right, you cannot go into the mosque with shoes on, so they give you overshoes or booties, basically. Thank you. Shukran. Nice to meet you. And this is walking inside of the mosque.
This clock, King Philip, King of France, he gave this one as a gift for Muhammad Ali. Doesn't work from the first time arriving in Egypt until this day.
That is the outdoor mosque, and then coming indoors, you guys can see that all that artwork, painting, ceiling, and then this is the indoor mosque.
So Muhammad Ali built here. And when
This is
we
the prayer
close,
room.
yeah, you can see the beds in the top. Have a look. The ceiling is so beautiful.
This mosque took about 20 years to build. There's 365 lights for each day of the year, as you guys can see. So that's the symbolism of the lights. And that's what you get with real alabaster. You can see through it. And this is the lotus flower, which is the flower of the people. Coming out of the mosque, you're going to see the city of Cairo down there, and then if you look off into the distance in this direction, you're actually going to see the pyramids right there. And coming across the wall, you're going to see the city here. And for those that are living in the U.S. that have never visited, you just don't understand the conditions down there compared to what we're used to and the conveniences we have in the U.S. You're very fortunate. All right, so right now we're visiting the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. This is supposed to be a really cool venue to check out. I think it's all modernized, so let's go see what this is about. This is the timeline of Egyptian history. Go through there and see the entire timeline. I think this is where we're going to see all the good stuff, Sergio. The mummies and the daddies. All right, these are some of the earliest known tools of civilization, and you'll see that the scythes or the sickles, what they'll do is they would knap rocks and use those for the blades. So very, very interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to head into Seville tonight, or Seville, Spain. We're going to be there for a couple days on the coast with a car. And then we have some really, really exciting stuff. I actually got an email today from someone in Dubai, which I'll leave that unmentioned until I actually get there. But they said, hey, come on over. You know, we'll take care of your airfare, accommodations. And I'm one of those, I mean, I didn't know if it was legit or not. So we'll see what happens. I'm already here, so why not towards the end of next week? And like I said, just wanted to bring you some good information. Hope you guys enjoying it so far, the ones that are watching it anyway. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.